Hi, my name is Shannon. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an OSINT investigator and a security trainer. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with some of the student protests on campus and how you can stay a little bit safer, especially when there's a risk of doxing happening to you if you're going public as a social justice warrior, if you work in abortion aid, or if you're just interested in activism. You'll find pinned to the top of my page on this channel, specifically regarding protesting, some tips on your personal security and safety and some of the digital safety precautions you can take before you go out to a protest or before you attend a protest. Just some things to consider that might help you lower your risk profile a little bit in case you're detained, arrested, or your phone is confiscated or anything happens to you. But the topic of this video is going to be doxing, and this is for you if you are working in advocacy, social justice, or with aid organizations, or if you're protesting, if you're a journalist, if you're being harassed or stalked, or if you are or planning to leave an intimate partner violence situation. So let's first define doxing, what it is, and specifically what it isn't. So doxing is when somebody publishes personal information of somebody they're targeting. Now this could be personal contact information or personally identifiable information in order to escalate harassment to the person that they're targeting, which could be you. So generally what happens is when somebody's doxing you, they use publicly available information such as your physical address, your phone number, possibly your social security numbers if they have access to that, credit card details if they can find that, all forms of PII to find your real identity. So if you have information on LinkedIn, if your friends and family provide information about you on social media that you don't know about and somebody finds it, that's considered doxing. This is not stuff that you would just generally find in the public, but it is things that you could find through public databases or pay a small fee to find. If you're attending protests, the chances of you getting doxed are much higher. If you work in abortion aid or if you work in any sort of social justice movement, you will be doxed at some point. This might include, but is not limited to, information about you being posted on social media, somebody tagging you in that social media, somebody sending you social media about yourself. There could be other things about your workplace, your employer, your associates, your colleagues, your family. These are all things that people could go after when they're doxing you. There's a couple of resources that will help you remove some of your information from the internet. One of those resources that I recommend is called the Safety Net Project. They're at techsafety.org, and it gives you, it's basically a technology safety and privacy toolkit for victims of intimate partner violence, doxing, or harassment. And they have a list of phone numbers, contacts, online chats, text lines, and basic technology safety so that you can figure out what you need to document and what kind of safety plan you need to have in place for protests, for social aid movements, for any sort of physical or psychological threats even. So these are all pieces of what happens if you get doxed. So this particular site has a guide to securing your accounts, a guide to securing your email, what happens to you if you're assaulted. There's also information about stalkerware, so that's like spyware on your phones. So if, for example, the police are at the protest and they are surveilling the crowd and they're using geofencing or geolocating your phones, there's steps that you can take to find out if something's on your device or if they found your device. This is a little bit about kind of, this particular site will help you, guide you through the thing that is happening to you if you're being doxed. Another really great resource that you can use is the Surveillance Self-Defense provided by the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and you can find it at EFF.org. You can just search for Surveillance Self-Defense. I will put the links in the comments so that you can find it. Okay, so another thing to consider after you've looked at these sites and kind of assessed where you're at in the terms of being doxed, what kind of harassment you're receiving, whether it's a former partner or if it's somebody from the protest or if it's somebody that is just targeting you because you work in social justice, consider the places your private information might be located beyond Google searches. For example, if you own a home or property, your records will be part of the tax record, and those are very hard to remove. So some things you can't get off the internet, but that's one of those things to consider. Also, if you are a lawyer, a therapist, or a nurse and you work in the public domain, your license and your phone number, possibly your address tied to your work, will be available publicly in public records, so you can't remove that. Additionally, in other states, there is voter registration information that is public. So your name may be on a voter registration list. If you have a common name, it might be a little less hassle for you, but generally speaking, that's a hard thing to also get removed. If you are thinking about data removal for example, or opting out of data broker sites just to reduce your digital footprint a little bit, there's a couple of things that you could use. You can use a service called Delete Me. They provide for a yearly annual fee or a month, I think it's an annual fee, you can have they'll help you remove all your information from the data broker sites, and they'll send you a quarterly, or I think it's semi-annual report about how many sites they've removed you from and where they found you and what they removed. There's another service called Canary that also does a similar thing. So if you're being doxxed, or if you're worried about being harassed, or if you're being stalked, or if you're just concerned about your privacy, Canary is also another option. That's spelled with a K, not a C at the beginning. So canary.com, you should be able to find it. If it's not canary.com, just do a quick search and put in Canary and related to opting out data broker services. Again, some of these sites might not apply to you. Take what works for you, let go of what doesn't. I have this all up on my blog, lockdownyourlife.com/doxing, and there's a whole list of resources there that I haven't linked to in the comments, but are linked on the website. Also, there's a full resources section on my website that might help you more. And then some final thoughts here. There's layers to security. There's layers to this process. If you're new to social activism, social justice movement, if you're new to abortion aid work, if you're new to working in these spaces, if you're a journalist, if you've never had these types of trainings, this is all stuff we can do to layer our security and protect us a little bit better, is by opting out of these data broker sites, so that when you are doxxed, not if, but when you are doxxed, you will have a little bit more control of your information and what's out there about you. Now, you can't remove everything, but you can make it a hell of a lot harder for them. Please remember to take care of yourself if you're being doxxed. This is incredibly it's emotional upheaval, it's very upsetting, and if you're being harassed or stalked by a former partner, or if you're experiencing intimate partner violence, then this may be even more traumatic for you. It may just add another layer to your trauma, unfortunately. So please take care of yourself. Please take time. Do this one thing at a time, one site at a time, one step at a time. There is no perfect solution to your safety and security, but you have a right to privacy, and you have a right to feel safe. If you found this useful, please like, follow, and share. And also, you can follow me on that former photo app, but that now has, some videos and stuff. And please also follow me on the long video site. They have lots of different videos that you can look for. Follow me on that site as well. Again, my name is Shannon. I'm an OSINT investigator and a privacy specialist, and I'm here to help you.